everyone. So I'm going to talk to you all today about some different investment proposals I made through this capital budgeting finance simulation for this doll company, and then from 2009 to 2014, and then explain why I made these investments and what to look for when making an investment for a company for the retail, production, and licensing all aspects of the company that can help lead you to a high company overall APV. In my overall company APV for this up to 2014 was 618.06. So first I'm going to start off with the entire big picture of how I got to that company APV, and then break it down into the smaller aspects, and then which will help understand the bigger picture. So I first started off with revenue. In 2009, it started out at 245.75, and then the current 2014 was 370.78, and that was actually it was higher than they originally forecasted for the numbers. Then operating income in 2009, it started at 22.6. Then in 2014, it increased to 41.67, which was also again higher than they originally forecasted. Then the overall net income was 13.56 in 2009, and then the current for 2014 is 25, which was again also higher than they originally forecasted. Again, this can be a little confusing, so I'm going to go into the different aspects that led me to the overall company APV and help lead to the big picture. First I'm going to tell you all about the investment options that I made in. First, there was replace assembly equipment at Sacramento facility, and that performed as expected, so it was a good investment because there was no loss it didn't exceed the expected margins. Then there's the dollhouse with miniature dolls. It launched successfully, which is good, but not as high of margins that they were hoping. So they made margins and profit, but again, with not as high as they were expecting. So it was a good investment, but not amazing. Then company promotion frequent shopper campaign. It was effective, but it fell short, so it wasn't as high as high as they expected. So that was an okay investment. It was still good, offering coupons for customers to help track them. Then Young Authors book series. It was an immediate success, which is always great when an investment, because then you get the payback period is lower and the profit index is higher. And so this was a good investment, great investment, because it exceeded expected numbers. Now I'm going to go to view all updates of from 2013, 2012, 11, 2010, 2009. And then I'm going to explain some of the investments I made and what they incorporated with. So for 2009, an expansion investment, which is actually helping the company expand and grow and go to new places. So there was the retail store expansion in Northeast, and it generated more revenue than expected, which is great because it's a lower payback period because they're making more profit. And then in 2010, for projected with growth option investment, this was Dolls of the World initiative, because they wanted growth options on how to expand their target audience and hopefully get more customers. It was a okay investment because it took longer than expected, which could increase payback period because there were issues with what happened, so it may take longer to pay back. And also they missed a holiday season, which is less profit that they could make because there was one less season that they could have sold all the dolls. Then in 2011, there was for replacement investment. This is important for companies because sometimes you need new things to help the company run efficiently. So, new inventory control system for warehouse. Inventory saving associated with the new system was marginally greater than projected. So, this was a good investment because it helped the company, employees working at the warehouse run efficiently, and also it's always great when margins are higher than what the company originally projected. Then in 2012, there was Interdependent Projects, which is the virtual doll community. They needed to work with a computer software company to help make the virtual doll community a reality. This investment wasn't the best because it took more money to make this happen than budgeted, and the revenue wasn't what they expected, which is always a little disappointing because then that impacts on budget for others, and also time. But overall, it was profitable. And then in 2013, a mutually exclusive replace assembly equipment at Sacramento facility. This was a good investment because it was mutually that there needs to be a replacement of equipment at the Sacramento facility so the employees can help the overall facility run efficiently. Now I'm going to talk to you all about the cash flow of the company, and cash flow is very important because it helps the flow of money that's going throughout the entire company from retail, production, and licensing. It's important for this to be higher and always continue to increase. In this case, the net income gets higher over the years, and then also the total cash flow statement, it was 44.3 in 2014, and it continues to rise, which is always a good thing for companies. So that means the investments overall worked and were successful, because then the overall company is successful. Now, and then cash. Now we're going to go into the project details tab. It is important for people in companies to view investment options from a senior management perspective to allow for the company as a whole to make wise investments and not ones that could potentially lead to the company going bankrupt, which is never a good thing. Cash flow statements. It's important for those to continue to increase over the years, because that means that customers are still going and wanting to buy the products or services. And then all companies overall have a budget throughout to help the company prevent the company from going negative in the budget, and staying in to help ration out between the areas of the company, like production, retail, and licensing, and then which will then overall help the company do well financially. And then for each area of the company to understand investments, production would be an investment for them would be new equipment at facilities, retail, adding new products for people to buy, licensing the brand name for the franchising of stores. One of the examples. Keys to help you know of a good investment is the net present value, which in this case was 6.82, and then the internal rate of return, which is how much return you're getting from the investment. In this case, it's 24.8%. And then the payback period, you want this to be low because that means that it wasn't as expensive and profits are good so that you're able to pay it back quicker. In this case, it's 8.7, which is kind of long, but again, it depends on what you were investing in. Some take longer to pay back than others based on pricing. And then profitability index, this is how much profit the company is making from, in this case, the toddler doll accessory line. You want that to be at least 1 because that means that you broke even, but anything higher than that is good because that's the profit that you made. In this case, 11.24. Capital budgeting, performance, and investments, it helps a company perform, like for retail with the dollhouse and miniature dolls, profitability index, which is above what the company needs to break even. Market positions on investment, this is allowing the company to stand out through promotion in the company for the toys and dolls to attract higher market, which will then increase profits. So yeah, we started out with the big picture of the company investments, and then I explained all of the aspects to the big picture. So we went from the big picture to explaining what led to that, and now we're going to go back to the dashboard and explain the overall big picture again. It's important so all those impacted, like the cash flow, profit index, payback period, it all worked into the revenue, operating income, and net income. Revenue, like profit index, the higher the profit, the operating income, what it takes and how much money for investments to operate, and then the net income. And then all of this led to the overall company APV of 618.06. It's always important for companies and even just people to make wise investments so that they don't go negative, and just make sure that they are wise so that it not only helps the company through profit, but also to help the company run efficiently on day-to-day operations to help better serve customers and that they want to come back for the future. I hope this all helped you out explain the big picture and understanding what goes into that on investing wisely for companies. Thank you.